Hello guys, welcome back to our channel again. This is Hermenio and today I'll be presenting a topic, very important topic in the studies of the theories and philosophies of Karl Marx. This is Karl Marx's alienation theory. So the idea or the term alienation comes from Hegel. Marx adopted the philosophical term used by Hegel, which is the term alienation, and developed it into a theory and a field of study, particularly in the field of sociology, economics, and in all social sciences. And social alienation in social sciences is defined as the state of feeling strange or separated from one's milieu, work, products of work, or self. Take note these four areas because again, this definition takes the four types of alienation according to Marx. So the first one is the feeling strange or separated from one's milieu. Milieu means the environment. So there's a feeling that you are detached, you are separated from your environment. The proletariat during this time, according to Marx, are the ones that are alienated, not the bourgeois or the bourgeoisie, the capitalists of his time, but particularly the proletariat or the working class. Those are working in the factory during the boom of the industrial revolution are the ones experiencing alienation. So according to Marx, it's a feeling that you are detached, you are separated from your environment, from your work, products of work, or self. That is how alienation as a term defined. Now, take note of those four because there are four types of alienation accordingly. Number one, alienation of worker from their product. Second, alienation of worker from the act of production. Third, alienation of the worker from their species essence. And fourth, alienation of the worker from the workers from other workers. So let us try to see each of them. Number one is the alienation of worker from their product. So the design and development of a production rests not in the hands of a worker. Take note of this. During their time and even in our time, but within the decision of a capitalist, a worker does not have control over what he or she intends to produce or the specification of his or her product. He cannot decide, unlike during the agricultural times, in the ancient times, that artisans really are proud of what they did into their products, into their art, their artworks, because they are the ones really deciding what to do on their products, specifications, development of it. But during the time of Marx, when capitalism is full blown, workers cannot decide. That's why they are alienated from their products for anything that they did in the factory. They are alienated. They are detached. Second, uh, alienation of the worker from the species essence. So accordingly, it is in German, it is Gattungswesen of an individual comprises, or the species essence is of an individual comprises all of his or her innate potentials. Under a capitalist mode of production, an individual loses identity and the opportunity of self-development as he or she enforced or being forced to sell his or her labor power as a market commodity. So during this time when during the industrial revolution, factories are very common in the European context. The capitalists are paying workers based on hourly basis, on a daily basis, in even longer hours of work. And Marx saw this, that labor as just like a commodity, like coffee, like beans, like rice being sold in the market and being bought in a labor market. For Marx, this is somewhat humiliating. This is detaching someone's from his own self, of who really that individual is. And the next one is the other one is the the worker is alienated from from other workers. The reduction of labor to a mere market commodity creates the so-called labor market in which a worker compete against another worker. Labor is traded in a competitive labor market instead of considering it as a constructive socio-economic activity that characterized by collective common effort. See here, prior to the Industrial Revolution, in the agricultural era, people are working together. They are working as a community. But during this time, everybody is competing against one another, being part in the labor market. And here, workers are being detached, being separated from one another, being being apart in the competition in the labor market. Now, there are things that so these are the four areas. So again, to review the kind of the types of alienation from the product, and then followed by alienation from one's essence, alienation from other workers, okay, or alienation from yourself, and then you have also the alienation of again, alienation of the from the product, the act of doing the product, the process of doing the product or the production itself, and the alienation of self and alienation of other workers. These are the four areas of alienation. Now, there are historical forces behind the alienation theory. Okay, number one is the Napoleonic era. Now, in the 19th century, this might triggers Marx's understanding of his life, of the society, and his role as a philosopher, and his role as a sociologist and economist. Now, Marx believed that what happens in history could probably have affected, the way he do his writings and his theory. In fact, if you read the book Capital, the Das Kapital, you will see there Marx gives some examples of what is really happening during his time. So again, the Napoleonic War in 1802 to 1815, the U.S. expands with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, the slavery abolished in the West in 1807 to 1888, the Opium Wars and the fall of the Qing Dynasty, the widespread European Revolution in 1848, the Japan opens its borders in 1854, and the Asiatic flow that wipes out a million people globally in 1889 to 1890. This event in the 19th century could have contributed to the development of Marxist understanding about society, and probably aided his development of the alienation theory. But there are two things in the economic aspect, economic forces behind the alienation theory that I would like to share with you: the rise of capitalism and industrial revolution. Again, for me, these are the two things that contributed mainly, really, the economic forces, two things in the areas of economics that contributed Marxist understanding of what is alienation theory. So the rise of capitalism, the control of the capitalists, his understanding of commoditization of labor, that labor can just simply be, bought or sold in a labor market, the industrial revolution, all of these things, I believe that really contributed much on Marx's development of his alienation theory. Now, to conclude, from the perspective of Karl Marx and within the context of capitalism, alienation is the surrender of control and the separation of an essential aspect of the self. You see, where will you surrender? To the capitalist. Where are you separated? For those four areas: products, the process of doing the production, yourself, and of course your co-workers, the other people who are also working within the community. You are alienated from those. So you're under control by the capitalists, and you're separated from those four types of parts of your life especially in the economic side. So a society based on a capitalist economic system promotes norms and standards that reduces an individual worker to a mere commodity or instrument of production who lacks control over his or her vocation. Simply put, for Marx and his adherents, that capitalism involves objectification and commodification of the experiences and objectives of the worker. No wonder at the end Marx um, is calling for that all proletariat must unite in order to solve their mystery. But again and again, still it is still a dream. Okay, so thank you for listening. I hope you continue watching our next, or continue listening and watching and learning from our next presentation. So again, if you like our presentation, uh, continue watching, like, subscribe, comments, and click notification bell. Choose all. Again, this is Herminio. Thank you for listening and have a good day, everyone.